What's up, Fearless Nation? Just watched a great three-part documentary on the Zone called The Making of Anthony Joshua. It has three parts, and each one aired on the weekend, three consecutive weekends. The first one was called, I believe it was called The Pride, the second, The Fire, the third, The Redemption. The first one covered his fight with Dillian White, and the huge feud they had going. I mean, you can go look at YouTube and see all the little exchanges they were having before and after the fight. But they talked about the amateur fight. They showed a clip of it where Dillian White, spoiler alert, Dillian White knocked down Anthony Joshua. I think it was Joshua's third. I think it was his third amateur fight. And Dillian White got in trouble later because they found out he had an extensive kickboxing career, so he wasn't technically an amateur. So, that wasn't fair. Come on, Dillian. But it was a great fight. It was packed. And Jonathan Banks was the trainer of Dillian White then, later the trainer of Klitschko. And Jonathan Banks was talking about how he told Dillian White, you can't let your anger get to you. You got to respect this guy. He's a gold medalist, and having anger can mess with you in a fight. It'll zap your energy. But he went in there and tried to hit Joshua after the bell, and Joshua said that's the something like the competitive nature of Dillian White, and it was just a great fight. Joshua said, there was no technique involved. He was just going in there, and Eddie Hearn was even on the documentary saying like, what are you doing? You're not using any technique. He's like, from a fan point of view, it's exciting, but it made him nervous because he was just trying to finish the guy, sticking out his tongue and everything. They didn't like each other at all. In fact, Joshua said at the end of, can't remember which, I think it was part one where he said, I don't need any friends. I got a big family and all this. So, you talk all this stuff before the fight. Don't try to apologize after and say, oh, I was just trying to hype the fight. He's like, no, I don't need any new friends. So I thought that was pretty cool. Or funny, I should say. And, he went in there, hit Dillian. Dillian caught him with a left hook. Joshua talked about how he overextended with the overhand right and left his chin in harm's way. And Dillian connected with that left hook and, put him down. He didn't put him down, but he kind of caught his attention. Not so much wobbled, a little wobbled, but he recovered like that. And you know how it ended with Joshua giving him that uppercut. And you could just tell Dillian White fell with his arm over the rope. And it was a wrap. Dillian doesn't seem to take too well to uppercuts, as you saw against Povetkin. I believe Andy Ruiz, when him and Dillian White were going back and forth, Andy Ruiz had posted a screenshot of Dillian White getting knocked out with his hand over the arm of the rope. I thought that was funny. But it was a great episode. Episode 2 was the big classic fight between Anthony Joshua and Wladimir Klitschko. And Joshua talked about how he wasn't even really a sportsman at the time. He was just, it was like all new to him. He lived 15 minutes from the arena. Like Rocky, I thought that's kind of like Rocky and Rocky 2, how he just drove from his house to the arena to fight Creed. And even Eddie Hearn said it was like a Rocky movie. He just drove to the arena, 80,000 people, fire, all kind of pyrotechnics going on, and classic fight. And Jonathan Banks gave great insight. And Eddie Hearn was talking about how before the fight in the press conference, excuse me, that Wladimir Klitschko said, everything I'm going to do to Anthony Joshua to beat him is on this USB. And Eddie Hearn thought, wow, meaning this guy is really prepared. In fact, Klitschko had on his robe coming to the ring, obsessed. He's obsessed with winning. And David Hayes on there, he's talking about how Klitschko looked fit and ready to go. And he came out and, it was just a real action-packed fight. And Klitschko had in his corner Jonathan Banks and his older brother Vitaly Klitschko. So when Joshua knocked him down in the 5th round, you know, it may have been a little chaotic in the Klitschko corner, but no, I'm thinking of when Vitaly knocked him down. Jonathan Banks said, you know, if you don't get him now, if you let him recover, he's going to be your worst nightmare. But he ended up listening to his older brother, Vitaly Klitschko, that told him, you know, kind of chill out, take it easy, you know, like you don't want to get caught with nothing. So Jonathan Banks was like, hey, you know, he's used to listening to his older brother, and that's what he did. So he listened to him, and he didn't really try to finish him. He let Joshua recover. And so Joshua said when he hit him, he said it shook him down to his boots. And he's talking about he beat me up for a little bit after that. It was just a great fight, great insight. Jonathan Banks said that Klitschko said after the fight, you know, it was a quick stoppage, premature, but he was happy to walk away in that fashion. I guess he knew he put on a good fight and a good show for himself. Both fighters did. And Jonathan Banks had just had a lot of good things to say. And I'm probably forgetting something because I watched all 3. And Joshua said him and Klitschko are friends to this day. You know, Klitschko gives him advice from time to time. And yeah, check it out. It's on DAZN. Episode 3 was the rematch with Andy Ruiz. And I could tell Joshua going to the ring, he looked kind of nervous. He said he was, you know, trying to win this one. He said this one was for him. So I thought that was pretty cool. He was like, the fight where he beat Dillian, he was up on the ropes. He said that was for the, you know, England or whatever, but this fight was for him, you know, because a lot of people doubted him. And he said he had a meeting with Rob McCracken and told him, you know, at this point in my career, it's getting kind of tough. So we need to bring in an extra pair of eyes because, you know, when I'm hitting the pads, I need someone to be at a distance and look at my footwork, make sure everything's planted right. So they brought in 2 other trainers, and he gave Ruiz a clinic. In fact, it was more action-packed than I remembered when I saw the highlights. Cut Ruiz, I believe, in the 1st round, and Ruiz just stopped kind of swinging. And then at the last round, he's trying to wave Joshua in. I'm like, come on, man, you had 12 rounds to mix it up, and now you want to act like you want to fight, like, stop. But anyway, action-packed fight. And Joshua still doesn't get enough credit for that victory against Andy Ruiz without a tune-up. That was one of his best performances. He did what most people didn't think he could do. A lot of the experts said he couldn't come back and beat Ruiz like that. You know, what was it, 4 months? Something like that. And David Hay even talked about at the end of the 12th how Joshua seemed to have even more energy, like he could keep fighting. So great documentaries. It's called The Making of Anthony Joshua on DAZN. Hope I didn't miss anything. And check it out. It's the J. Roos Theory. Thanks for watching, and be fearless. Yay.